It's the month of March, and this month, Streaming Things is brought to you by Chester Copperpot, Trey Barrera, Conrad, Luke and Sarah, Dave Malfara, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Jose Ruben Cruz Rodriguez, Thomas Alexander, Emmy, Joe Velez, Valerie, Stanton Valentino, Aaron Layton, Crystal Trujillo, John Collins Ghost, Andrew Gray, Jen Robinson, Kate, Chloe Richardson, Kalisha Reeves, Kiki Newton, Kevin Strother, Jeanette Murphy, Casey McCain, and Enza.
Welcome back. My name is Chris.
My name is Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, continuing our coverage of Yellowjackets Season 1 in anticipation of Yellowjackets Season 2. This time it's Episode 5, Blood Hive.
Blood Hive.
Which rhymes
with
5.
Okay.
Get it? Episode 5, Blood Hive.
Oh, I gotcha.
I thought you wanted me to go back. So we don't know when Season 2 is airing, folks. We spent
too many not great sources online.
People always say Google is free when they're being a smartass about, easily accessible information. And I'm usually on board with that kind of response. So I Googled it. And if you do that, you can do that right now on your device. And you will find 2 dates, March 24th and March 26th. What I've surmised is that Showtime subscribers can get early access on that Friday, and so they'll be able to watch it, but the normal airtime would normally be Sunday. Oh, I forgot to tell you this, Steve, Madison. I did Google, I was trying to be sleuthy, right?
Ooh, sleuthy.
And I was like, when did Yellowjackets Season 1 premiere, which was November 14th, 2021? I Googled, what day was November 14th, 2021? It was a Sunday, and I got scared. Like, oh shit, it is a Sunday show. Because we don't want it to be on Sundays, folks. It's just easier for us if it debuts on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywhoozle, I don't know when to expect it at this point. If every week it's going to be early on Friday, that'd be great.
Or if it's just that one day.
Yeah, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Because if it's late night Sundays, I don't know. Steve just can't keep living like this. He's getting old.
Well, there's a concern that it could become 10 p.m. Sundays, which if that's the case, oh my God.
That's a long night.
We're not in our 20s anymore.
We ain't young chickens no more.
In the days
Spring
of
chickens.
Or young chickens.
Yeah, same thing.
Chicks. We're not chicks anymore.
We're not chicks.
We used to stay up till 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. recording streaming Stranger Things episodes.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what we do. Sleep, I guess.
Some of us do. I have to go edit them.
Yeah.
I go home and sleep.
I take a nappy. So just stay tuned. Either way, we're covering Season 2. I don't know if we'll have time to squeeze in a Season 2 predictions, but I really want to because this is the type of show. I mean, this is Lost style shit popping off here.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but just that's what I hear.
Oh, yeah. You're not far off.
And I think that'd be really fun for us to sit together and surmise. So maybe that last week we could do a 3-piece chicken McNugget episode deal.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
I'd be down.
But right now, let's just focus on the present, guys. That's what my Zen teacher has taught me.
As in the immortal words of Misty, we got to bear down.
Yes, that's right. We got to bear down on this episode. You can email the show with your Yellowjackets predictions anytime at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. You can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/streamingthings.
Do it.
At a variety of tiers to get extra bonus episodes and content. We do at least one every month. And we also have access to our Discord community that is run by people much smarter than us. And it's thriving. I mean, they have a whole hierarchy in there. They've got an economy. They're
going to create some games to play. Like I know one game they're starting to play is to see who can guess how many times I say bear down in an episode.
Is that a drinking game?
No, it's just, I don't really understand the rules, but I heard that was a game they're going to start. So
bear down. Do a shot.
Take a shot.
Bear down.
Jello shots.
Also, if you do join the Discord, I'm going to start doing bi-monthly fireside chats on Friday nights. So the first one is this Friday night. So just in a couple days, if you're hearing this on Wednesday.
Nice. Fires. And he does have a digital green screen fire typically all around him. I don't think.
Well, I have the Helmo behind me.
Uh-huh.
Which, if you don't know, it's the Elmo that's got its arms raised in the air and the fire's behind it.
Right.
That's how I greet people to the Discord. I send them that GIF and say, "Welcome to hell."
Welcome.
That's a fun place to be.
Yeah, it really is.
But by the way, when Last of Us ends, we'll just have Yellowjackets. Right now, we're doing 3 episodes every Sunday. So what that means is we can get back to that long queue for patron members that have paid for certain things. I think our next movie is
Class Action Park.
Yeah, Class Action Park, and then some
Have you seen
bangers.
Class Action Park, Madison?
I've not. I've actually never heard of it.
It's a swell documentary
it's a
on
documentary.
HBO Max.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
It's a really fun movie.
Yeah, it's a fun documentary about an insane park.
A real theme
like
park in like the 80s.
Like if Kings Island was run by like a guy adjacent to the mob who just had crazy ideas of what rides were.
Oh,
Like think
interesting.
Ray Liotta,
okay.
like actual Ray Liotta running this park.
But
Sounds interesting.
But even though people are dying and getting grievously hurt, people loved it.
Fun times.
Because it was the 80s and they were like, hey, I survived that crazy ass park.
We
Woo!
can die. Let's go.
Yeah, it was before the internet.
I'm
Right,
going to live
right.
forever.
Back then, you had to check a TV guide if you were going to find out when Yellowjackets season 2 was going to come out. And then, but at least then you'd get the actual information.
Yeah.
God
It's
damn
on
it.
one of 3 channels.
Yeah. It's on 4, I think. Maybe 6. But anywho, back to Yellowjackets, episode 5, Blood Hive.
Blood Hive.
I just watched it a little bit ago. So what we're going to do if you're new here, we're going to talk about our overall thoughts on the episode as a whole. And then we'll go into a play-by-play, scene-by-scene recap, talking about all of the moments, all of the goings on inside this episode. And we got some fun little categories at the end that we wrap things up with. We'll talk about our top 3 favorite moments each through the episode, some Easter eggs, some little 90s tidbits that we pulled throughout. And then finally, our favorite performance of the episode, and that'll wrap up our coverage of episode 5. Steve, lay it on me. What'd you think of episode 5? I know you recently said the show was like maybe fine, but it was really cooking up for you. How are things going on that front?
So it continues to, this is a nice, this show I can already tell, right?
Okay.
It's going to be a nice stew. Right. And how do you make a stew? You don't just put the boilers on full blast and heat it. You're going to ruin it. You know what? You let it simmer.
You do.
You let it stew. Right.
Stew's got a stew.
Yeah. You got to stew
Yellow
it.
Jackets are in the crock pot right now. They're just
Yeah. Add a bone in there. You got yourself a broth.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
All right. So and this episode kind of continues it. Like they're pulling at some more threads. There are some interesting sort of revelations that happen in this episode. And you know, the weird stuff is starting to happen, right? And I think that's what I like most about the show is like, give me the weird, give me the strange. Weird Al Yankovic, weird, give it to me, all right? And that's what the show is. I'm looking forward to when the stew is done and ready to be eaten.
Okay,
I didn't mean that to be as creepy as it sounded.
No, I liked it.
But I'm gonna
Give me the weird.
I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna be the weird one.
Yes, that's what we do here in this show. We double down. We bear down.
Bear down.
Madison, what'd you think of 5?
I really enjoyed this one. I think in the previous episode I talked about how 4 was it was a lot more slower, in my opinion, a little bit more of a filler episode. I think this one definitely is elevated from episode 4. In my notes I have kissing on trees, speaking French, and fire dicks. Those are the 3 things I have
dicks.
to
Are those your 3
highlight.
favorite moments?
No, those are just 3 things that like popped in my head after watching this episode. But I think what's really cool about this one is we're starting to dip our toes into that hovering element of supernatural that has been suggested in episodes 2 and 3. And also I think too, if we look back on episode 2 when the plane crashes in comparison to this one, the expectations where we thought those girls were going to end up is completely different now than what we thought before. But I really enjoyed this episode. It was a good one.
I did as well. I'm with you guys. I think the stew is starting to bubble, it's starting to boil over, it's starting to, waft throughout the room, if you will. I don't know how long I can keep this metaphor going,
Hey,
but
but they got to be careful because too many cooks can spoil the broth.
that's true. What other metaphors can we? The beans are out of the bag now, Steve.
Out of the bag, yeah.
I really think that the writing is so brilliant because at times I think it's not until episode 6 for me that it's like supernatural goings on is undeniable. And that's what I love because it allows you like little tidbits to doubt and waver. Like, for instance, Lottie has these visions and she's perhaps a little clairvoyant, but she's also on schizophrenic medication that she's now off, right? Like she's ran out of those pills when they're in the wilderness. So it's like, maybe she's just got some mental illness things going on, right? Whereas eventually I think you can see that that's not the case. But Really interesting, fascinating. Again, like I said last week, I think little things, because I remembered nothing about the show other than that I loved it when we started, but it's like things are coming back to me.
Yeah.
And I had a revelation in episode 6. So just stay tuned for a few days. We'll talk about that later. But in general, I'm getting just as excited as I used to be. Once again, this is a perfect thing to do leading up to season 2. So let's dive into Blood Hive, which, by the way, is the name of the band that plays the opening theme track, I believe. I think it's a fake band. It's part of the score, but they call that Blood Hive. No Return by Blood Hive. So very cool. But the show opens in 1996. They're having a party.
Yeah,
You know,
they are.
you got to kill the time when you've got literally nothing else to do. And I guess they got like a little a Walkman without headphones, like some speakers in that baby.
Yeah, and of course you do. You stick it in a bucket or a bowl, and that you got your own speaker system at that point.
It's like when I'm taking.
We've all done that.
Yeah, well, I do that still. I put my phone with some tunes or a podcast on,
You
and
gotta stick it in a cup.
or the sink. Even I got like a really like a rotund sink.
Yeah.
It's like it's a piece of shit. It's a
Shameless
terrible
brag.
bathroom. It's a terrible bathroom. It's like a closet, but still, like I basically shit in a closet. But it does have a decent little like sink with some.
I have a shit bathroom, but the acoustics are
Exactly.
amazing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, when I shit in there, it's like
Best
John
sounding
Williams.
shit ever.
John Wayne.
John Williams.
Oh, okay.
It's like the John
Yeah, the
Williams
score.
tuba section just going ham for the Imperial March.
I was
Wow.
just grasping in my mind for how John Wayne was related to this.
I gotta use your bathroom, Pilgrim. I gotta take a massive shit in your bathroom, Pilgrim.
Indeed.
But we get a cool little dance number with the team.
The Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
The Bart Simpson maneuver. Everybody does that. Yeah, it's really fun to see. They're all having a good time. Even Laura Lee is getting down, as they say. I don't know if they still say that, but that's what she's doing. And then the radio thing breaks. They all hear some flutter in the attic, some noise in the attic. Some of the more practical folks among them. Oh, it's just the roof.
Lottie is surprised that everyone hears it.
Yeah.
She's
Did
just
you
like,
guys hear it too?
thank goodness.
I've been hearing this for weeks.
It's typically not the case.
It's
Yeah.
like, do you hear them talking too, or is that just me?
Yeah. Does anyone else speak French? And then it's time to get some sleep. Coach Scott says, like, hey, let's just go to bed. And then we cut to Misty creeping on Coach's morning wood.
Oh my gosh.
He's full mast. He's raising the flag, and she just tiptoeing up.
This made me more uncomfortable than the squirting of the water from episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What's the squirting of the water?
When Misty walked up to him and was like, hey, take your shirt off. I'm going to squirt you with water.
Sure. This is way worse.
Yeah.
Insanely worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an erect. I don't need to walk you through why it's worse.
I kind of wish, the sick part of me kind of wishes that they would have scored like the 2001 A Space Odyssey theme for when she walked in there.
Oh my gosh.
Ba ba.
But then like shot it from below. So it was like the statue thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But he wakes up. He just senses that somebody's about to grab his boner. And he says, don't touch me, Misty, which is a fair reaction.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be fair. Yeah. Gosh.
And then, yeah,
that's so awkward.
she seems really hurt by that, though. And he is scared to death.
I think a little hurt might be underselling it based off what she does later in the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. All of the ladies in the house, their menstrual cycles have synced up. That becomes a plot thread for this episode. Steve, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's a thing that happens. We'll talk about it later. I'll catch you up to speed.
Is it like synchronizes one watch with another?
Yes. They all have to click it at the same time.
Ladies, and
Setting the timer now.
now.
Yeah, you don't want to be the odd one out.
Which scientifically, like period syncing up is not proven scientifically. It just
I was going to ask, like,
happens.
is this like a thing that actually happens, or is it sort of just a stereotype?
It is. I mean, as far as I know,
I mean, I
obviously wouldn't have firsthand experience.
I haven't looked too deep into it. There are situations where I find myself, and like in high school, for example, I played sports, and there were times where me and 6 other people would be on our periods at the exact same time, which was bizarre because, you know, we're all 6 individuals with 6 different, you know, body types and all that kind of stuff. But it's not, I don't think it's scientifically proven unless someone has other information that I don't know of.
I'm not Googling it.
Do I hit enter on this Google search? Can women's period sync up?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I've hit enter. Let's see what period syncing is the idea that women who spend a lot of time together will have their menstrual cycles aligned. However, scientific studies have been unable to prove that period syncing actually occurs.
Really?
Pure mathematical probability is the likeliest reason why women's periods sync up.
Mathematical probability?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is all anecdotal evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here third, folks.
You heard it here third.
This is not proven. I didn't know that.
But also, your period is...
Mine isn't.
It can start via like if you're stressed out or if you're mentally going through something, it can prolong it or it can make it come faster. So, you can look at it as they just went through this very traumatic experience via the plane crash. And so that, is probably taking a lot of, stress on them. And I'm sure that's probably why. I don't know. But
the plane crash just knocked the ovaries out of everybody.
I guess so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're all syncing up. They're all PMSing and getting pissed off at each other.
Pretty mean sisters.
And everybody is actively working on this homestead except Jackie. Jackie's sleeping in late. She doesn't feel good because she's got her period cramps. But everybody else is like chopping wood and swabbing the poop deck and whatever needs done. I would be the Jackie in this situation. So I have no idea what they're out there doing, but it's useful things.
I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna get a bucket.
Well, they make her get water because she goes for breakfast for brekkie, and they're like, nah. That'll be there. You need to pull your weight around here. So she goes to get some water.
And it's like Jackie is completely oblivious to what everybody is hinting at. Yet Shauna is clearly seeing what everyone is hinting at.
Yes. Like, hey, if we end up killing people, you understand you're going to be the first, right, Jackie? Like that's not overtly said, but it's implied. And by the way, they've got this giant pot of I guess leftover deer meat. What is it? Venison.
Mm-hmm.
Leftover venison stew, if you will. Do we go back to that metaphor? But right next to what they call the bloody soldiers, which are on the left.
Which I thought was clever.
They're all boiling the rags that they're using for pads, right?
Yes.
Why? I guess to reuse them?
Yes.
But it's creating its own stew.
Period stew.
And there's a joke that's made because Travis apparently grabbed the wrong stew at first.
Oh,
yes.
No.
You didn't see that?
No, I think I was writing something down. I didn't see it.
Yeah, they were like, be careful. The bloody soldiers are on the left. Travis made that mistake. And he's just shaking his head like, God damn it. I don't know how far he got. They didn't explain, but I like to envision it was far. Breakfast on the right. So then Jackie finds Lottie in the lake while she's getting the water. And she's just sitting in the water like, hey, isn't that cold? And she's like, yes.
I thought it would be warmer.
Oh, yeah, it is cold.
I thought it would be a lot warmer. And no,
Lottie, this is why no one likes you.
Don't want
You keep doing that Lottie joke and it's off-putting.
It's off-putting. And then go ahead.
Me likey Lotta do it long.
And then Shauna's period is late. She's the only one who's not experiencing her cycle, if you will.
Whoopsie.
Back in 2021, adult Shauna is sexting and burning toast, which, you don't cook toast while you sext. That's a complete rookie move. You want to butter that shit first and then get back to the phone.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get sucked in, especially if they have any kind of linguistic skills whatsoever. They might take you onto a novella like Outlander style. You have no chance of cooking that toast proper. I don't know how long I'm going to go with this, Steve. Just stop me.
No, I'm not going to stop you.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Wax more poetical about sexting, my guy.
It's an important skill to have,
You don't just say, hey, top hat emoji, bunny rabbit emoji, carrot emoji.
Exactly.
Send.
And then Callie comes in, her daughter. She says she's going to the city for Halloween. And then Shauna's like, do you mean you're asking, or did you mean to phrase that as a question? And by the way, the answer is no. And she says that she's got to stay home and hand out candy because she's going to her book club. And then, Jeff kind of comes in and chides her and says, you're being too hard on our daughter. And Shauna says, our daughter is an asshole and actions should have consequences, which I thought was a good quote for Shauna to say because
she do be cheating.
Well, that, and I think she's done a lot of things that she does not want the consequences for. So it's a little ironic. Maybe a murder, I would assume.
Maybe a sext.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
More directly in this moment.
Do you guys, I legitimately don't remember anything. I cannot promise that enough. Do you both think for sure that Jeff has been cheating on her?
I don't know for sure because we never really got the official like, yes, he's definitely cheating on her.
He was with an attractive young woman
Yeah.
at a hotel.
He lied about it.
Yes, that's true.
And definitely he's up to something, but I feel like the show's kind of steering us,
to be unsure.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
wouldn't it suck if at the end she cheated as revenge, and then Jeff was like, "I've been working with a new home decorator, honey, surprise!"
Yeah.
And you know,
Surprise,
Yeah.
we got a new kitchen.
what have you been doing? How's your book club? You know,
Can I join?
no,
No.
he's laying face down naked, waiting for me, and I might not show up. That's our book club. That's a weird book. I'm not into that.
Where do you put the never mind. The bookmark. I couldn't think of what the word was for bookmark.
It's like, I'm gonna have to explain something else for you today, Steve.
But no, so Jeff offers to go to the book club.
He does.
With Shauna's like, oh, it's just, I forget. What
We're
she
reading The
calls
Girl in the Train Window. It's just it's it's the opposite of a sausage fest. And
Yeah.
he's like a clam bake.
Yeah, clam bake.
Which is, I feel like, especially episode 6, and we'll get there, but Jeff becomes a lot more sympathetic. Like there's this point where as soon as she decides to cheat, he becomes a way more sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Not by virtue of that, but they take pains to do that. And it's kind of an interesting tact there. And like in this, he's a dumb husband maybe, but like that's funny, I think. And he's like trying to be nice, go with her, trying to be active with the kid a little. He's a pretty bad parent from what we can see.
Yeah.
But you know, he tries to be an active husband in these few scenes.
Which is odd. The show does do a couple in this episode, and then maybe in the next episode as well. It does a couple things that I feel are kind of out of character for certain. Like it's uneven. The writing for a couple characters are where they're one way, and then all of a sudden they're not, for the sake of, I don't know, like manipulating the audience into feeling something in that moment. But then they revert back really quickly, and it's just kind of like, okay. This is odd. So there's a little bit of uneven character writing in this episode specifically.
It could be. I think we're seeing some more depths, and I really appreciate some extra nuance to Jeff's character specifically.
Oh, I'm not referring to Jeff specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in regards to him, I like what they're doing, but we can get there because there's some big changes for other characters. So Nancy's at home or in the hotel watching UFO documentaries, I think.
Nancy?
I know.
Natalie, sorry.
Oh, Natalie. Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
That was my old...
Did I miss something?
Nancy Nat.
I abbreviate with letters, and that was my old Stranger Things coming back. Natalie
Nancy Wheeler.
was watching some sweet UFO documentary and some sweet fishnets. Anybody else catch that? You were just
Just lounging in the fishnets.
Is that what you do, Steve?
That's what I do.
I throw on my nets. I light a candle and I just enjoy my shows.
Yeah, you might.
But nets only, nothing else.
Yeah, that's
Pants with socks.
If I'm watching UFO docs, it's in nets and socks.
Listen,
That's it.
it's the only way to watch a UFO doc.
Otherwise, you feel unsafe.
But also, you put on the tinfoil hat so the UFOs can't reach your mind. So tinfoil hat, fishnets.
I put a
Socks.
fishnet hat on. It protects me.
Oh, look at you being a trailblazer.
She gets the call that Travis's toxicology report was clean, and then gives kind of the cold shoulder to Kevin. He's like, so, hey, now that I got this report for your dead boyfriend, you want to like maybe meet up, do some weird
Right.
stuff? She's like, no, sorry, I got a call. And then she calls, don't pick up, which is Misty, of course, and asks her, hey, what about that, email hacker guy that that friend? And Misty tries to, stonewall her, get an apology out of her, but immediately avoids that tactic because she's like, okay, I'm not going to get one. And actually, I don't care. I'd rather have a friend. It's Halloween there. She pulls a code blue as a Halloween prank on some kids.
Yeah.
Which I found hilarious. I love that moment so much. The kids
Also,
run up
Does that
screaming.
work? Like if you just flip a little power,
I'm sure.
I don't work in a hospital. I think so. Like those machines are just plugged in. And if they lose power, they are set to make those noises.
pretty funny.
But it would also send alarms to like the nursing station and stuff. People would run in. It wouldn't be a prank worth doing, I would imagine.
Right.
Also, I think the kids that would participate in such a thing like that wouldn't be this old.
No.
Like, I think they would be like little kids who are like, I'm just here for candy. Yay. Not like, this place smells like old people. I'm
Right.
dressed up as a little mermaid.
Or at least, where's their chaperone?
Yeah,
know?
they're
How'd they
just-
get there?
Yeah.
We took the 4 and had to, switch buses to the 27. And like you guys are getting around really well.
Also, did you guys notice that in this scene, Christina Ricci is super pregnant?
I did not.
She's insanely pregnant in this scene.
You definitely can tell that she's pregnant.
Did she have a baby during this show?
She was pregnant the whole time filming this.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I might have known that back then, but I didn't know. I'm completely stupid. You're
just like, man.
Well, to be fair, she's wearing these oversized scrubs, and they're, the Halloween ones.
I don't want no scrubs personally.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good reason.
It was a 90s joke.
They're not form fitting.
Yeah. Hanging out the passenger side. Back in 1996, Shauna, she's in the woods. She's feeling her breasts because she's getting pregnant, right? They start to swell. They start to hurt.
Yep.
And she's like, uh-oh, I know what this means. They don't have the internet back then, but women talk. She knows what that means. And then she starts using the deer blood to pretend she's having her period. She takes a rag, goes to dip it in the blood, like, hey, I got a good idea. But Thaisa sees her. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back to 2021 Thaisa. She's with Simone. She's not polling well. She's really down in the polls. Bathurst is way ahead of her. Things start to steam up until the dog barks, like they start making out, trying to be a good couple, right?
Damn it, Biscuit.
Fucking
Starts
Biscuit.
growling and barking.
Cock blocking Biscuit. And then she sees a wolf outside, the wolf that she frequently sees.
And she grabs a very pointy, very sharp mail opener.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, I was like, Steve, I looked down to right and I looked back up and I was like, is that a screwdriver? Like a really long Phillips head, perhaps?
No, it was a very ornate letter opener. Yeah.
God, I wish I had one of those. Nobody sends me letters, but I wish I had one still.
You can get one.
Like long claw. Yeah. I thought.
Like you have a long claw pommel.
Yeah, from Game of Thrones. Yeah. That's the kind I want. One of those. Or Dark Sister.
This letter opener, it's Valyrian steel.
That's right. That's right. But she finds nothing when she gets outside, but then she sees spill written in red paint across her front doors. And then the scene cuts to 1996.
Which, of all the things people could smear paint all over your walls about, spill is probably up there with the least offensive.
You would think it would be like
thank God it's just spill.
Yeah, like it would be a dick in reality, like the what's that show, American Vandal?
American Vandal, yeah.
Who did the dicks? In 1996, Shauna pretends to have her period with Jackie, and she's really not accustomed to lying in this scene. Like she lies a lot because she's been banging Jeff, but it's like she just runs right up to Jackie, who has the headphones in, and she's like, "Oh man, you jinxed me." One person I care seeing that I'm on my period. But Thais is watching this, and that's when she puts it all together because she's like, "Oh, that's why she dipped the rag in the blood. That's weird." Mm-hmm. And then Shauna pulls Jackie away and tries to teach Jackie how to prep the meat. Jackie's like, I don't want to do this. This is gross. And this is when she has that conversation with her. Like, hey, look.
She's real with Jackie for a moment.
You got to start doing something. I don't know if you've read Lord of the Flies. You're piggy right now.
You're piggy.
Not going well. In the piggy poll, you're doing great.
Stay away from large rocks.
We're sharpening sticks. You don't have one. And then, they have a moment. They start to bond. She tells her, hey, and Jackie's kind of a little bit of a meanie during this scene because I think Shauna goes really out of her way to like build her back up. Mm-hmm. And then Jackie says something like, cheering people up's not really your thing. You're usually a bitch, And Shauna's like, was
that a pep talk?
Yeah.
You're bad at it.
Yeah. But they do have a heart to heart. She gives the necklace back to Jackie. Mm-hmm. I've been tracking this necklace all season because, of course, whoever's wearing that at the end
necklace watch
gets sharp stick to hold.
Sharp stick.
I wish I didn't phrase it that way.
Lots of holes in their body. Later on.
More than you would normally have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is 7, I think.
A lot.
I know that after watching Ant-Man 3. Mm. That's a plot device. But I think the necklace is still on Jackie that we know. And then they hug. They have a nice hug. The hug lingers because Shauna's very sad about having to hurt her friend.
Or does she love her friend?
Oh, I forgot about that interpretation. Are you back on that, Steve?
I don't know. It lingered. That shot lingered.
It's lingering.
I really do think it's all just her guilt. Like she loves her friend and she feels really guilty that she's banging her boyfriend. We find out in episode 6 that maybe you guys always knew, but I didn't know that Jackie was a virgin. And she had never slept with Jeff. And so like Shauna's like, they're at an age where like,
we knew that.
I didn't know that. So this is like, or I don't remember that. So that was like, oh man, like, you know, they're at an age where this is like, you took something special from me that I can never get back. It's not just you're banging my boyfriend I was going to break up with. Like, you know, if you're, I'm not saying it's cool if you're 25 to bang your friend's boyfriend.
No, but it's
like way less cool when you're, you know what I mean? In high school.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
And also, like in high school, having sex for the first time was like a really big thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big deal, right?
And she thinks Jeff is also a virgin. Like, this is a really bad sitch, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's what the hug is. It's just her like, because I've experienced that, not that specifically, but it's like, I was kind of a hellion in high school. And there's these moments like
long hair.
Yes, it was the long hair. It cursed me to be.
Believe it or not.
Long hair.
Like when my mom would call, I've told this story before, but this is the best example of this feeling. I spent the night at my friend's house. We went out egging houses and spray painting stuff, right? And then we got caught the next morning for reasons I won't get into. We were really dumb. Like we wore the same clothes that were covered in paint and shit and started walking around the neighborhood again in the daylight. And everybody was like, it's those fuckers that are always running around with their ripped jeans and their band t-shirts covered in the paint. So we're sitting there with the cops. And I call my mom, and my mom is usually not always this way, but in this particular moment was so sweet. Hi, honey. Are you having a good time? Do you want to stay the night again? Do you want to sleep over again? You want me to bring some snacks? Like just extra. And that was awful because I'm just waiting to get a word in so I can tell her, no, actually, I'm sitting here with police and I need you to come pick me up. And I'm in a shitload of trouble, I would imagine, you know? And I think that's like what Shauna's feeling in that moment during that hug. She's like, this is great, but I can't fully enjoy it because the other person is not privy to all of the information about how this is actually terrible, right?
Right.
That's how I took that. But
Yeah.
she could also have romantic feelings for her, Steve, and just want the hug to linger.
I just love
because the
love.
skin's so soft. I just love love.
I love love.
I know you love love, buddy. That's what I love about you. But back in 2021, Sammy has the worst Halloween costume of all time. Sammy is a Sam Witch.
Sammy is a Sammy.
I thought that was awesome.
That is such a Steve costume.
That was a well-made costume. It looked really good.
Well, Thais is rich.
And his name is Sammy.
Sure.
There's wordplay. He was a sandwich. All right.
But do you think he wanted to be a sandwich, or do you think his mother made
I
him
don't
be
give a
sandwich?
shit what that weird kid wanted. Make him cute. The neighborhood deserves a good pun.
Yeah, he's not like a dog. Like you would dress Pippin up like a sandwich, you know?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Especially if his name was Sammy.
And Sammy doesn't strike me as the type of kid who's like into Paw Patrol or a Spidered Man. Like
Sure.
that kid is just like, this is my best friend. He's my doll. And now that doll's broken. And for whatever reason, mommy won't let me be that doll for Halloween. I'll be a sandwich. I like those.
Yeah. She won't let me be a dead animal, which is what I asked her to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm Sammy. So I guess I'll just be a sandwich.
They were like, Sammy, what do you want to be for Halloween? And he said that and pointed at roadkill.
Exactly. But he comes home from trick-or-treating. Simone is suggesting they finally out Bathurst's daughter. And she was always the one that was against that because now she's upset that her home has been encroached upon with the red paint. And then Thais is a little hesitant, like, no, I thought you didn't want us to stoop that low. She goes to put Sammy to bed and sees red paint under Sammy's bed.
Dun, dun, dun.
And like he did a terrible job.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he didn't do it from his perspective at all, but whenever he becomes when he blacks out is just a terrible at hiding bad things because they just left the brush in there, slid it, got paint all over the floor.
They like painted a trail up to it, like from above the bed.
Sammy's feet are red.
It was like me vandalizing as a
Right.
kid. I was Sammy, I guess.
He had a note fall out of his shirt pocket that said, "It was me."
Oops. And
Oops,
then
all Sammy.
is that an oops all berries joke?
It is.
I appreciated it. And then we cut back to Shauna and Adam. They're at a cool, like, sexy Eyes Wide Shut Halloween party. No sandwiches in sight.
None.
Have y'all
Sexy
ever
sandwiches, though.
a lot of sexy sandwiches.
All the sexy
I think we call that
sandwiches.
a hoagie.
We just lost 6 listeners, but 8 of them up their tier on Patreon immediately. It's a very specific kind of humor. I'm here for it.
Have you guys ever been to a club like this?
An Eyes Wide Shut party?
Yeah.
I have to say I have not, and I want to. I want to wear a mask.
What are you calling it? Like, what is it?
Eyes Wide Shut? Like the movie, the Kubrick film with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? So they go to orgies in that movie and they wear those like ornate Mardi Gras masks.
So no one can recognize
Yeah,
them?
so you can just fuck in anonymity,
Okay.
you know?
Have not been to one of those.
Could be a real hoagie at those parties.
Yeah, you can. Nobody's going to know.
Just a sloppy
You even put
sandwich.
like a little one, a little
Sloppy
mask
hoagie.
It's- yeah.
on your junk.
Yeah.
So nobody can recognize that either.
I've seen that penis. I recognize it anywhere.
They're like fingerprints.
fingerprints.
They're all different. No, I've never been to a sexy Halloween party. Have you, Steve?
I don't get
Tell us
invited
about
to
your
parties.
sexy. Oh, that's the kind of question that leads into a cool story, I would feel like.
I was just Madison.
I
You're,
mean,
you're young. You're hip.
I mean, I was in a sorority in college, and so I went to a couple of Halloween parties that were at frat houses that were, they were fun, I guess.
But
for
they
the
weren't
time.
this where they have like a woman literally dressed up as a disco ball, doing really cool
No, I
stretches
haven't
and
been
light.
to any formalized, sexualized Halloween party at a very nice venue before.
Well,
I know.
Upsetting,
this
isn't
Halloween, I have a bucket list.
it? Okay. Should I
I'm
throw
gonna-
one, buddy? That's the only way to know
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
go onto Craigslist and ask around. Does anyone know of a cool, sexy Halloween party where there are some hoagies?
Or we just throw one ourselves.
A streaming things hoedown?
Yes, a
And
hoagie
we have
party.
to dress up as characters we've talked about on the show.
You know what? I like it.
If
I'll be
Steve
your
is
event.
in a giant sandwich with like a dick hole cut out,
I'll be the event planner. I'll plan it for you.
I'm leaving.
Oh, thank God. Oh, you're leaving?
Hey man, want a bite of my sandwich? You know, that's what you're gonna be asking
You want a
everybody.
$5 foot long? Well, there's a Subway next door.
No. No, because that circuitously took me to Jared, and I hate you for that. That's the wrong kind of party.
He went
But
to
anyway,
Jared.
we've never been to one. But Shauna and Adam, apparently Adam's an artist, and he's been to all kinds of these Halloween sex orgy parties. And Shauna's a little uncomfortable. She doesn't even want to wear the mask, which he's like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And we cut back to 1996, and Travis and Nat are out hunting. He says that your lady blood is scaring all the prey away because they apparently haven't seen a deer or anything like that in a long time. And she's like, oh, my mincies. And I love this interplay. They're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
And she says, hey, wouldn't it like attract? And he's like, predators maybe, but not prey. And then he shoots a bird on the fly, which was actually really impressive because the bird took off and I was like, damn, he missed it. And then it fell. And I was like, huh,
Damn.
dang, Travis.
He caught up to her. They've been keeping score.
He flexed
Yeah.
on her.
Is it 5-5? I think.
Flexed.
Oh,
My bad, buddy.
he would get so mad at you.
He would. So yeah, they're keeping score. It's a fun game. Let's see, you can kill more stuff and take a shot. 2021, Misty shows up at Natalie's and then
She has a secret door knock, which I thought that was funny because she walks in and goes dun 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 dun, and then Nat opens the door and goes, "I told you we don't need a code."
yeah, literally the only person that knows where I'm at. But Misty, it's part of the fun for her. She wants that.
Yeah.
She likes that. And her hacker buddy is also a citizen detective, and they have
Stallion 99.
Yeah, they have chat handles. He's Stallion 99, and she's African gray.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a type of horse as well?
No, I think it's the type of bird Caligula is.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I think.
I thought it was weird they would both be horses. You're right.
I really didn't look into the names at all. African.
Yeah,
I did notice that it was weird.
It's the bird that Caligula is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good, Steve. Nice dig there. So that's all we find out in that scene. Then we cut back to Thaisa and Simone. They confront Sammy about the paint. He denies it. He says the bad one did it. The lady in the tree. And then he slings the candy off the table. And he's like, if you guys are going to accuse me of this shit, then I don't even fucking want sugar. Because sugar is for happy families. And that's not what we are. He didn't say all that, but that gesture spoke those words to me.
He said he's a very emotive child.
He is. He
Said
is.
that with a flick of his wrist.
After organizing them, when you get home with your Halloween candy,
noticed
you
that
want to
too.
separate them into all the different piles. Like, oh, I got 9 Milky Ways, 2 minis, 1 full.
There were a lot of mints, like the little.
Yeah, he had a terrible haul.
I was like, y'all live in a rich neighborhood, and you were getting those tiny ass little mints.
Yeah, where are
I
the
would be
full size
so
candy bars?
I was like-
pissed off.
I lived next to a rich neighborhood growing up, and there was this one house that would hand out big ass Twizzlers, like big Twizzler bags.
Like the whole bags
Hell
of
yeah.
The whole
Twizzlers.
bag.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Of the long ones. I was like, damn.
What's up? Ding dong.
Yeah.
I do love some Twizzlers.
I salute those people.
Yeah.
They keep the Halloween theme.
I turn my porch light off. That's what I do.
I put out an
said,
empty bowl and then with a note that says take one. So when people walk up, they're like, oh, some kid stole all the candy already. I just put an empty bowl.
You really do?
No, I don't do that. That's not true. I don't do that
You
at all.
cruel man.
Nobody trick or treats on my street. It's not one of the neighborhoods that.
No, you remember, I was so excited at the old house. I was so
you love
excited.
it.
I was like, oh, I'm going to hand out
sat there
candy.
lonely
I was so excited.
all
And
night.
like 3 kids showed up and I had like 4 boxes of
You're a
candies I had to
loser,
eat.
mister.
Yeah. My dog scared a fucking Mario. It was
Aw.
a disaster.
I walked 3 blocks just to say, fuck you, buddy. That was Steve's Halloween.
I looked like a creep because these kids were crossing the street like a house away from
You're
me.
like, you want some
and
candy?
I was like, hey, I got candy.
No.
No.
So I was just desperate to hand out candy. 'cause
He
it's
was
all I
dressed like a
wanted.
sandwich with the whole cutout.
I was
Oh, man.
naked. No, I'm
He was wearing the sandwich outfit with some nets.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Got to put nets with the sandwich.
Yeah. Oh man, we are just creating an outfit.
We are.
Natalie is siphoning gas in the next scene. And that's when we meet Stallion 99 and we hear about African Gray. And what the gas is for is on cue, Misty pours that all over his dick. And then she pulls out a Zippo and says, I could light your dick on fire or you could give me the stuff. And so he gives him the file. And afterward, Natalie looks at Misty and says, you should ask that guy out. You've got a lot in common, which is funny because it's true. Like that's the kind of guy that Misty needs right there.
Initially, he was, withholding that information because he wanted to be in on whatever they were wanting to do.
He's like, this is cool. I'm lonely. I'm not,
Right.
He's not even extorting them. He's like, just let me hang out. And Natalie's like, or I could just set you on fire. That's how little I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Says a lot
intense.
about Natalie, really. But back in 1996, Thaisa and Van are making out. And then we hear screams in the distance. And Mari comes running out of the cabin thinking something's crawling on her, but there isn't anything they can see. And then Jackie she got that pep talk from Shauna about how good she is at cheering everybody up, keeping the group together. So she's like, hey, what we should do in this creepy cabin while we're stuck out in the wilderness and probably going to die is have a seance. Right, Laura Lee, who's super Christian. And she is not happy about it.
No.
But did you ever have a seance, Madison?
Excuse me? When I was in a sorority? Yes.
Yes.
No, kidding. We sacrificed one of the freshmen. No. Actually, we didn't have a seance, but we...
Do you have a Ouija board?
Yeah, we did the whole Ouija board experience, and it honestly kind of was a drama-filled night because we...
Oh,
Someone died.
No.
It's a little drama. Carl died.
Yeah, it was like little drama, but it was the varsity team and we had the JV come as well. We were staying at a varsity team member's house. She had the Ouija board. It was actually her older brother's. Their parents didn't know that we had it. We were doing it in the basement. One of the girls got really, really freaked out, called her mom. The mom called the mom of the
you
place
had
that
a
we were
Laura Lee
staying.
on your team?
Yeah, which rightfully so. I mean, the older girls were kind of, or I should say 2 of the older girls were being a little too dramatic with it, playing with it really intensely and like intentionally trying to freak this girl out, which was kind of a dick move. But the girl got really freaked out and called her mom, and it was the whole thing. Like, the next day we were at practice, the coach had to get involved with it. Like, it was just a whole thing. But I can say nothing supernatural happened with the Ouija board itself, but it was the ambiance of the night was it was raining outside. There was a thunderstorm happening and the lights went out. So that's what
Awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
it was
the
like
perfect time to do
yeah.
it.
So that was the big, freak out moment for her and why she had to call her mom. But
Oh, I hope they didn't pick on her more for calling her mom.
I don't think so.
Oh, good.
I think, they were. So she was a sophomore and they were seniors, so they were leaving
gone
soon. So
Yeah, they definitely hated her more, but it didn't matter because they were gone
Yeah.
soon.
Okay.
yeah.
I never did this stuff, and I thought maybe it was like, is this like a girl thing? Is this like, I mean, we had one. I think my parents were super superstitious, not religious. Like I feel like it's even worse, but just superstitious. And so they would have lost their shit when I was really young. And they stopped caring by the time I was a teenager. But my friend now has a Ouija board tattooed on him on his stomach, which is kind of weird too.
Can you play with him?
You can, but I think things might end up a little different
Just have like him laying down and like
I
six
think it's
people, like,
pointing to yes.
Over time, it just like wrinkles and you can't dissect what it says. No, but I don't know if it's strictly a girl's thing. I mean, that was the only time that I ever really came in touch with it. I mean, if I was in another situation and my friends were like, "Hey, you want to fuck around with a Ouija board?" I'd be like, "Sure, why not?" But
I fuck around with his Ouija.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm not gonna seek it out myself.
The only reason I say that is because it's kind of without preamble. Like Jackie just suggests it, the show lays it out, and they're all like, "Shut what?" And so,
oh my god,
I thought is like, is this like a thing I'm not aware of that like is a thing? But it works within the show because of the supernatural elements. But the way they just dropped it in there, like, like we do sometimes.
Well, and it hints that Jackie's done it before. I'm like, so I can assume they probably had a similar situation or similar like activity that I experienced where, they're at someone's house or, it's just dumb shit that teenagers do.
Yes, that is true. I have experienced lots of dumb shit for sure.
Yeah. So.
You just Google it up real quick and try it. We made a lot of bombs.
Oh.
None of them really worked, but we did that stuff. So I get it. Seance, explodies. Same. I caught my hair on fire once.
Yeah, I played Pokemon. Yeah, we all do weird things.
Yeah, we all experiment.
Some of us make bombs.
We would TP when I played softball, we would TP the baseball team's houses for like senior night and stuff. Mm-hmm. That was always fun.
Scott 'em. Way to pitch overhanded, losers. But back in 2021, meanwhile,
like the sex club.
Thank you. I teed you up and you knocked it out of the park, Steve. Shauna sees young Jackie. She envisions young Jackie, played by Ella Purnell, at the party. She kind of goes looking for her. And then she instead finds her daughter wearing Jackie's uniform. And her Callie's on Molly, and then she says ecstasy. There's a little bit of flub in the show.
Down off of Molly.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the outfit for a second? It's like she knows it's her, like
she thinks it's her mom's, but
but the makeup gives me this impression that it's a zombie. Did anyone else interpret that?
That's really rude.
Yeah.
Like the dead Yellowjackets girl's costume.
That's 100% what she was doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dead Yellowjackets girl.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. And I was like, Callie, you're an asshole.
Well, yeah, we have
sucks.
established Callie's an asshole.
It's just, wow.
But she's rolling balls in this scene. So she actually is kind to her mother and a little bit later on because of the Molly, I would presume. But this also cuts between Taissa being confronted by Simone, about the way that she's been and staying away from her family a lot and like letting Sammy kind of drift up by the wayside. And Taissa's like thinking about dropping out of the race. I can't believe we did all of this just to lose. Like maybe I should just drop out completely. And Simone, like you can tell, she doesn't want to push Taissa towards that and have her be resented later on in life, but she's so relieved to hear her say that because that's obviously what she wants. Mm-hmm. Back in
it's kind of funny that she goes like, "Oh, I'm not telling you to drop out. I just don't want you to never have the time back."
You know what I mean?
Like, okay,
you want to drop that in there?
All right.
You want to, she's not wrong though.
I'm just gonna put this down. Oops.
How'd that get there?
Oops.
I'm paint a trail to it.
No, she's not wrong. No, I just thought that was kind of a funny, like, I'm not trying to push you anywhere, but push.
Just be aware that if you go down this particular path, you might lose your family.
Yeah.
And God knows what else.
Right.
Your brain.
But maybe not. Maybe it'll be cool.
Maybe it'd be cool. Who knows?
Back in 1996, Misty brings the coach some tea. Hilarious for the swelling in your leg, not your wiener. Just to be clear.
Oh my God!
Clever writing there.
Just imagine being stuck
with a boner. If it's over 4 hours, you're supposed to call somebody.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
OBGYN, Misty.
I'm on my way. I know just the thing.
That sounds so awful. Like, hey, your leg's cut off. You're stuck in the middle of nowhere. You're the only adult to try to take care of these kids, and the one kid is sexually harassing you.
And think about it, like
you can't really escape her.
The only reason all of this is happening is because Misty, for once in her life, was relied upon and respected, and purposefully broke the transponder.
Yeah.
Which, it's easy to forget because Misty's like pretty funny to watch and stuff, but it's like, holy shit, all of this is just because she's a nut.
Her fault. Yeah.
Where do we timestamp this? Do you think? Like, how many weeks, days past the plane crash do we think we are?
I think it's been a month.
A month? Okay.
Yeah. Because they're all, it has to be with 3 to 4 months, I imagine, if they're all, like, it couldn't be more than 2 months. Because they seem like they're making a big deal about their periods.
Well, actually, yeah, that makes it would have to be a month.
Nice, Steve.
It's a weird thing to do bones for.
Nux, periods.
No, you make
I just meant your logic, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably been like 3 or 4 weeks.
It's been one menstrual cycle.
Correct.
That's the only time they have to go by. The moon.
2 moons have passed.
The moon blood. No, it'd be one moon.
Oh,
sir.
one moon has passed.
One moon have passed.
One moon has passed.
Well, they were out there for 18 months total before they get rescued.
19 months.
19 months?
19 months.
That's 19 periods.
That's 19 moons passing.
Yes.
But for Shauna, that's only 10 periods.
True. That we know of. We don't know what happens to the baby or anything.
That's true. Yeah.
Like this can't be the baby. This can't be Callie that she's carrying, I don't think.
It's not Callie. The math would be very wrong unless they are lying about how old Callie is, which would maybe feed into why
Callie's
Misty
like
has
30.
That's why.
No, she would be 20. She would be 23.
Just like the idea of like a much older girl. Like, I hate being in high school, Mom.
She would be 23.
And she was raised like Tarzan until she was 6, and then they just.
But it would make sense why Misty maybe has Callie's birth certificate back in episode 2 when they were looking through all their shit.
That's true.
So, I don't know. But again, we have no idea.
No, and we do not. We do not. So Thaisa decides to drop out of the race and then back in. Oh, we already talked about that. The T, not for the boner, but for the leg. And then Shauna and Jackie are setting up the seance. They're, I think, lighting candles, doing different things. They've got dirt and deer blood to. Well, that's later that happens because that's actually really
they're
funny.
putting the candles on all the weird symbols on the ground. They're like, we don't need to make a pentagram. We got this made
we
stuff
got
already.
little triangle weird guy.
Someone left a template.
Which I want to say, and I don't know if I'm forgetting things from when I watched it the first time, but no one else has acknowledged the symbol except Lottie.
Yeah, that's true.
No one else is making note of the symbol except Lottie.
But then Jackie just does this casually here.
Well, Shauna just
Look at this
places
cute
the
little guy.
candle on top of it, but she doesn't acknowledge what it is. So it almost makes.
I thought Jackie like instructed her to put them on the symbols.
Oh, did she?
I'm pretty sure Jackie like says like, we already have these things here. Don't make the pentagram. Just put them there on those creepy things.
Oh,
something like
Perfect. No comment needed.
I made a note like, not a good play, I would think.
Maybe don't put it on the weird creepy thing.
No, that's the perfect place to have a seance.
Okay, well then now it's the first time that another person has acknowledged.
But even
that
so, you're still correct that like nobody else is bothered by it whatsoever at the very least.
Which is odd.
Well, because we've seen it engraved in 3 trees now, and now it's on the wood, like the wood of this. I would just feel like, if I was in the woods and I was seeing the symbol, I'd be like, maybe we shouldn't be over here. Maybe there is some weird culty shit happening.
I think Lottie's right. This is a weird place.
Yeah.
This could just be like the Nike swoosh of Canada, and they don't know what this company is. And it's like, oh, yeah.
Just do it, eh?
Yeah. That's A Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Super nice guys.
Yeah.
In the next scene, Travis had taken the bullet out of the gun for Natalie, and when she goes to shoot, it just clicks. And then they flirt wrestle. That's what I call it. Tee-hee-hee.
Flirt wrestle.
Tee-hee-hee. And then they kiss. And
Lots of kissing.
Huh?
Lots of kissing in this episode.
Yeah, things are, they're stuck out there. It's been a month. It's been a whole moon cycle.
Yeah.
A moon has passed, Madison.
You're right.
A moon has passed.
What have we got? What kind of kissing have we gotten? We got Van and Thaisa.
Van and Thaisa.
Which was a reveal. For listeners watching the first time, this is kind of a reveal, right? I glossed over it because that was one thing I did remember. Steve, were you shocketh?
I was only shocketh because I thought there would be steps leading up to it more. Because up to this point, there have been like casual glances at each other.
Sure.
But there hasn't been like a set, oh, they're interested. They've had the talk. They are together. So it was kind of a shock like, oh, they're together. Oh, okay.
I think it's
good for them.
Yeah, I think they were together before the crash. Like back home, they were secretly lovers, At least Thaisa is afraid to come out, I think. Van seems less so worried about that kind of thing. And then we got Natalie and Travis. Their romance is heating up. And then we cut to adult Natalie remembering, this is such a great like little sequence. She's remembering adult Travis, and like you can see his bare chest and all this stuff. And then you see his bare chest, but after the post autopsy in these horrendous photos. Such a jarring cut there. And Misty is like very lackadaisically looking at her photos, completely unbothered by this, but she has less gross photos, to be fair. They're just the room. But Misty finds something in the photo. It's wax. So there seems to have been a circle of candles that when she puts all the pictures together and draws, form the symbol from the wilderness. Like the little fucking, I never know how to describe it, but the circle and the triangle and whatnot.
This was kind of funny because as she was drawing it, I was kind of laughing. Like, there's no way you would figure that out based off that. It was so. And then there's two lines that go out of this one. Like, what are you drawing towards?
Right.
Look, man, Misty is very smart, just a little weird, right?
It'd be funny if she drew that and everyone gets all like, oh my God, it's that symbol. And
it's
then
the dick again that was on Thais' door.
They're just like, Miss, you just drew the symbol. There's no there's no wax points on anything. Any of this.
Yeah.
No. You got to keep the club. She's a citizen detective. How dare you doubt her acumen?
Yeah, I'll poison you if you doubt me.
Indeed. And of course, Natalie never believed any of the shit that, that he would kill himself. And Travis didn't believe any of the shit of the supernatural stuff. So we get a clue as to how things ended up when they left the wilderness, that like things transpire that Travis supposedly didn't believe in. And this symbol is at the core of that. But it seems to suggest that Natalie's correct, that somebody killed Travis, because not only was he could have maybe lit those candles, but somebody took them away. So there was someone else there when he was hanged. We go back to Callie confronting Shauna, but she's really kind in this scene. Again, I attribute it to the Molly. She says, by the way, Adam, that guy knows who you are if he has the internet and he knows your name, because Shauna's kind of in denial. Like, oh, he's not with me because I'm a yellow jacket. He has no idea about any of that stuff. And then she tells Callie, hey, that's Jackie's uniform, by the way, which is awkward. And that's mostly the scene. Like, she's pretty allowing of her mom making this mistake.
We learned that Jackie's parents gave the uniform to Shauna on her 40th, on what would have been Jackie's 40th birthday. So it seems to confirm that Jackie's dead, which was kind of a surprise to me.
Sure.
I've kind of been on the fence, like waiting, like, are any more of these girls going to pop up in the present day? Or are they all, if they're not in present day, they're dead. So this was kind of like, oh, okay, Jackie's dead. That's sad.
Which is like, this is the episode where she gave the necklace back to Jackie. And again, I don't think it was ever confirmed that the girl in the pit.
I don't think that's confirmed this season.
I don't think this season it does get confirmed who that girl is, but it seems to suggest, I wonder if I just missed what they thought was obvious with her getting the necklace back and then confirming her death in this episode. Is that like, that's her? I don't think so.
I don't, yeah.
But that's a really sad way to go. I was thinking about it on the drive here, like, all the stabbies and the running and the scaredness.
Well, and I think too, I think in my sense of denial of Jackie being dead at this point, because, she hasn't passed away in the 96, version of her story.
Yeah.
I think part of me was also thinking, what if she faked her death? And like, I don't know. I guess that wouldn't really make sense, because if they all got, picked up, she would, probably want to go back with her parents. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
They didn't seem like
know.
great people. At least the mom sucks.
But Callie says it sucks that her mom had to go through that, and she's like, "You're not fine, Mom. I can tell."
Yeah,
and apparently
that's the Molly.
You get Callie on Molly, and all of a sudden she's a big hugger. You know, she's a big sweetheart.
That's what it does, man. Also, this bar feels really good. I don't know. It's so smooth. What kind of wood is this? Like, that's what it would also do. But in 1996, the seance is raging on. They put blood and mud on each other's foreheads like it's fucking Ash Wednesday. And then they ask a series of questions with like a pendulum thing going on. And so the idea is that the spirit would move the pendulum. It shakes back and forth left to right if it's no, and it goes in a circle if it's yes. Am I understanding the way they played correctly? Which
is funny because this is something I remember like flashing back to in high school. We would do that with, we would do that same principle, but it would be how many children you would have. And if it would be a boy or a girl, you would take your strand of hair, hold it, and then tie something on it. And if it was, to go, I think, forward and backward, it would be a girl. And if it was side to side, it would be a boy.
Ah. I used to do I couldn't do it, but people would fold the paper and you could put your fingers in it and like,
Oh,
and then lift to, you know what I'm talking about?
the fortune thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can ask it questions and then do the little finger dance.
Pick a color.
Yeah.
Now pick a number.
Exactly. That was fun times.
Yeah.
But they ask a series of questions. Did OJ do it? I think is Van's question. Is
the vice principal having an affair with the one teacher?
Principal Brzezinski screwing Mrs. DeWine?
Oh, yep.
Definitely yes. Would we have won nationals? No.
No.
And Thaisa and Laura Lee aren't at the seance. They're both downstairs with the coach, I think, and Javi. And Laura Lee is reading the plane operating manual and saying, hey, it's not that hard to fly, I bet. And that's kind of her plan.
I'll just like Jesus take the wheel.
That's right. And then Javi does run to the attic. I'm going to see what they're laughing about up there, having a good time.
That was so much fun.
And then when he comes in, they're talking about somebody's boobs. They're obviously fake, and it's a really fun conversation. And then somebody asks, is it Misty?
Misty's like,
Does the person I like me back?
yeah.
So embarrassing. Because we know it's Coach Scott, right? But everybody else is like, oh, like they act like it's adorable when it's actually not. And then I think, is it
Javi.
Oh, Javi says, are we all going to die out here? And Travis is like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, way to bring the mood down,
We were talking about tits like 2 minutes ago, my guy. Why did you come up here? And then when he asks that, the pendulum makes the infinity symbol instead of a yes or no. And everybody's a little like, head cocked at that, but not too concerned. And then Lottie starts to scream right before the window blows open. So like the camera, does this like Sam Raimi thing where it POV flies toward the window.
Yeah.
And then she screams and then it blows open. And everybody freaks out at that point, mostly because Lottie's screaming. And then she starts speaking in tongues. It's hungry. It's in. She looks at, is it Van?
No, she looks at Shauna and says, it's in you. And Shauna's, kind of confirming she's pregnant.
I didn't catch that at the time.
You didn't catch that?
No, I was like,
your genuine surprise was so funny.
The baby.
Oh my God.
I like TV. Girl.
That was amazing. Wow.
See, we should watch it together. You get all of that.
We should.
And then Lottie starts speaking French. Like really, I don't remember knowing that the guy's name was Jacques, but apparently they all know that. I'm sure that was revealed. He was some kind of, the dead guy.
Oh, I never heard his name.
I didn't catch that either.
So that's the impression. They mentioned the name Jacques, and I think he's some kind of like French Canadian colonialist or something. And then that's the spirit they're supposedly contacting. And then all of a sudden, Lottie, I could have made all of this up. Lottie starts speaking French. Which would presume that it is him.
It is him.
That's inhabiting her. And Jackie can kind of speak French, but not really. So she very slowly translates, you must spill blood or else, which finally Lottie switches to English. So it was all for naught anyway. And then she cracks her head on the window purposefully. The coach vomits downstairs and looks at the cup. So the tea has been poisoned that he got from Misty. All of this is happening at the same time. It's fucking chaos. And Laura Lee runs in all, the power of Christ compels you. And eventually just hits Lottie with the Bible.
The Bible letter. And Lottie's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
Why'd you do that? She wakes up all confused because she has no idea.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember anything that just happened.
I believe they call that a possession.
And they do in some circles.
Laura Lee just conducted a successful exorcism.
She did.
Yeah.
Just throw the book at her. They usually do that in courtrooms. Throw the book at you.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Woo! And back in 2021, Thaisa makes her speech and she doubles down on running for office instead of backing out. And she can see the eyeless man that she saw when her Nana died, but she's like, you don't scare me. I'm a politician.
Okay, so you guys have seen the show. Do you guys know who the eyeless person is?
I don't.
I can't remember.
I thought when she saw her for a quick second, I was like, is that supposed to be Lottie? Like a weird, like ghostly Lottie?
Interesting.
It sounds like a drink the way you say it.
Lottie?
ghostly
Go to
latte.
Starbucks and get a
latte.
ghostly latte.
I want a ghostly latte.
I want a latte of those. So I'm going to say a no.
Okay.
I know for a fact it is not, but I don't know who that is.
I can't remember if that is ever resolved, if we figure out who that person is. No idea.
I read today that when I was trying to find out when season 2 was fucking premiering, which is wild. I can't, not to go back to that they plan on having 5 seasons of this show. Like that's what the story, and they said that we're still on track for that.
Wow.
And I guess the pandemic slowed season 2 down significantly, and we'll get season 3 a lot faster.
Wow.
But that's what they plan on. So, but I say that to say that there's questions like this that might not be answered for quite some time, I would imagine.
Because the fact that Thaisa can see this supernatural being, you know, I don't
Which
think
is unfair. He clearly can't see her. You go on.
I thought it was a woman.
Right. Oh, you thought it was
the
a
figure
woman?
was a woman. Yeah.
I thought it was a dude with like cool hair.
Yeah, I thought it was a dude.
It's hard to tell.
Well,
it's kind of an androgynous figure, and
Sure.
Yeah.
without the eyes.
Well, in the context of the grandma, I was like, is it an angel? Is it, you know, this element of death? Is it, you know, what symbolism does this person have? But then the context of
I thought
Thaisa,
the Nana had said it's a man with no eyes, and like I thought.
right. But I thought there was a conversation of the angels, or like an angel coming to take her away or something.
There was.
like
She
that.
expected a benevolent figure to show up, and instead it was that fucking creep.
But I guess it's just in the context of when Thaisa is seeing this person, you know, with her grandma passing away, and then in this instance when she's, you know, taking, I guess, like doubling down on this speech and, you know, continuing in her political campaign, it's just, what is the correlation with her seeing this person? I guess I'm trying to connect the dots of why those 2 instances she would see the person.
The first is just the death, right? And the second, she makes a decision to veer down a path of somewhat darkness, right? Like going against her family's wishes, going against her word, you know, and all the things that she's had to do. She's put her friends in peril with their reputation and their history. She's put her family in peril with what's going on with her house and the lack of attention she can provide to her kid. And then she's just like, fuck it. This is important that I'm in a, you know, I don't know.
You think it's
I'm reaching here.
You think it's any form of like selfishness? Like whenever is this her own internal demon that's like looking at her when she
could
makes...
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally bullshitting too. I'm just interpreting
I've thought about it too, because at the end of episode 6, I have a lot more to say about this stuff, but it seems to me that
Sure.
like Thaisa has had 2 distinct, everybody has their own supernatural / mental illness things going on, right? Mm-hmm. But Thaisa has 2 or 3. We find out in episode 6. We'll talk about that later. But like she sees the wolf, she sees the eyeless person, and there's like a third thing that goes on in the next episode that Thaisa has a lot.
Well, also her kid has some sort of supernatural type.
Well,
as well.
I think again that's episode 6 stuff. We'll pause.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
So where we at? So we cut back to 1996 after Thaisa and Simone's. You can see she's shocked that Thaisa is saying what she's saying. But we cut back to 1996. Laura Lee is scrubbing the triangle symbol in the attic. So there's another person acknowledging it, and Laura Lee at least seems concerned by it. And we cut to Ben confronting Misty about the poison. He's very calm, to his credit, but it's like a calculated calmness. Like he knows that she's dangerous and he's got one leg. So he's like, I can't piss her off, right? Mm-hmm. At least that's how I read it. So he's like, just tell me why you poison me. It's all good. I just need to know. And she admits that she has feelings for him. And so he decides to go down a certain path to try to prevent any more harm done to himself. He's like, look, I feel the same way. I love you, but you're not even 18 yet. I'll get in trouble. So we got to keep it secret until you're old enough. Mm-hmm. And she's my sweet Misty, you know.
Things you got to do.
The things you got to do to not get murdered by a crazy girl.
Right.
And she seems to believe him. She's like, oh, okay, I got you. I feel you. And we can it'll be our secret, right? And she loves that. And we cut back to Van and the others that are all convinced that was a ghost or some kind of supernatural interference, except for Thaisa, who is really more, again, we know about her character trying to convince herself, like overcompensating, because she's one person there that has had personal experience with supernatural stuff. So she angrily decides to sleep up in the attic. No one will go with her. even they're all terrified that she would suggest such a thing. So eventually Shauna says that her and Jackie should both go up there in solidarity with Taissa and Jackie.
Fuck that.
Great leader that she is.
Hard no.
So back in 2021, Callie wakes up all hungover. She tries to blackmail her mom. Like, hey, I know that you're banging some guy. So here's
what happened to the sweet Callie?
The Molly wore off.
Oh my gosh. She should be on Molly all the time.
All the time. They used to use that microdose for therapy. That's why it was invented. So she said, hey, no more curfew. I get to go take Ubers to the city whenever I want. You're not going to say shit or I'll tell dad. And Shauna calls her bluff immediately.
Ooh, Shauna becomes a fucking like Dawn of the Mafia. Like, time.
It's so cool.
So good.
She says, here, let me walk you through what's going to happen. You're going to stay every weekend with your sad father in a sad little apartment, and you're going to have to spend all week with him eating cold pizza and shit until he's ready to date.
Here's the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty. I really want to take a note on Cherry's character.
She also says, the divorce lawyers cost $500, $600 an hour. And, if you plan on going to college, you can kiss that goodbye.
We have about $12,000 in your college savings account, which sounds sad, and it is, but that's gone. My favorite part is, and when he's finally ready to start dating, he's going to seek you for advice, and you'll probably be able to help because they're going to be your age. And she just looks horrified. And remember, she's hungover too. She's already like verping.
And she thought she had her mom,
Dead
hook, line, and sinker. And then her mom was like, actually, you thought wrong.
And the most ballsy best part of all of this is at the end when Shauna goes, Jeff, Kelly has something she wants to say to you. Like totally puts her face in it. Like, do it. I dare you.
Yeah.
And then she instead tells on herself about, hey, I went out and got drinking and I did drugs and I lied to you. And Jeff is such a dud parent.
You're
He's
right.
like,
She really does have a bad attitude.
well, dang it, Callie, that sucks that you did that, Yeah. And then she storms off and he's like, yeah, she does suck. And then back in 1996, Shauna does join Taissa in the attic. It's just the two of them. And Taissa says, hey, you're preggers, aren't you? That's what the demon was talking about that Chris doesn't know.
Oh my God. If Lottie looked at her and said preggers and pointed.
Yeah.
Laughed so hard.
Baby.
Which if it was a ghost,
Candyman
taking over Lottie, how intuitive is that ghost to recognize that Sean is pregnant?
So intuitive.
Predators
you can
can smell it.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I said it and I hated it as soon as I said it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to attract bears. Do you remember that?
Cocaine bears
from Anchorman.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad that Shauna finally has somebody to.
Yes, it's a really cool moment because Thais is very kind about it.
Yeah. And in previous, episodes, Thais has kind of come off as a bitch, but in this episode is very, very sweet.
Because
to do that.
Pregnancy is terrifying. And again, I'm a man, but
no, pregnancy is terrifying.
I have 2 children and I have been supportive, and it's terrifying anyway. Way more terrifying if you're a teen. Way more terrifying if you're a teen who is dealing with it alone and single. Way more terrifying if you're stuck in the fucking woods without doctors or medicine or anything, right? So it's a scary sitch for Shauna.
So many layers here.
And she can't even seek help because
more terrifying if your OBGYN is Misty.
Yeah. She's got the axe or whatever. Like, I'm ready.
We got to cut it out.
I can get it. So back in 2021, Shauna's Googling herself. And of course, the Yellowjackets shit pops up immediately. And you can see her visibly get like, oh, he probably does know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yellowjackets single?
Yeah. And then cut to Taissa. She shows up at Natalie's house or hotel at her behest. And she shows her the whole situation with the Travis symbol and all that stuff. And then they all get a group text that they're being extorted, drop $50,000 and this will all go away or some shit like that. And we can see that Misty is watching all of them on camera. Misty put spy cameras in Natalie's motel and she's not being invited to this little grouping. And Natalie calls her the conniving poodle haired bitch or something like that. And Misty gets really offended. Like, hey, I'm not conniving. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. So now let's do our top 3 favorite moments of episode 5, Blood Hive. Madison, let's start with you.
So my number 3 was, well, I guess these 2 scenes kind of go hand in hand with each other, which was number 1, Shauna and Callie catching each other doing bad things in the club. And then followed by Shauna throwing down the reverse, Uno reverse blackmail card
Uno
with,
reverse.
with Callie after she tries to blackmail her mom. And it was just such like because I feel like Shauna, when you first see her, you don't think she has all the cards, but she's actually really intelligent and, just totally, I don't know. It was just such a good scene with her and Callie.
I agree. Steve, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the press conference that Ty has where she kind of, she's going to say that she's dropping out of the race, I assume, and then does a 180 when she sees the spirit and is like, no, I'm going to, these motherfuckers wrote spell on my house. And she dramatically reveals it, like pulls off the ghosts that they were using to hide it. And she's like, I will burn this, basically like, I will burn the city down.
Yeah.
Like just the righteous indignation from her. It was really, really fun. And like, honestly, if like this was a real political thing and like remove any of the drama narrative, the spookiness of this moment, if I was like watching that, like, hell yeah, girl, get them.
Yeah. Got my vote.
You got my vote. They should be writing shit on your walls. You got children.
Yeah. And in that moment, she thinks Sammy did it, right? So it's just, it's a calculated, awful thing, really.
Yeah, it's her really turning back on her family, turning her back on her family, but also using her family as tools to achieve what she's trying to get.
And that's why Eyeless pops up like, taking this path. Like, Toothless is the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
Eyeless.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be here. I got lost.
Thank you.
Please point me in the direction of Misty's house.
Misty's house. My number 3 is the moment in the attic where Thaisa comforts Shauna, because Shauna's up there because Thaisa is scared. She's putting on a show because she really wants to believe that nothing weird is going on, and that's how she copes. But she's alone up there in the fucking devil's room, right? And so just the two of them is a pairing we haven't really gotten yet, and it's a really cool. And like you said, it's nice that Shauna has somebody that knows, and Shauna herself looks really relieved that somebody else knows. So I love that moment. Madison, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Misty and Nat pour gas on the hacker guy and threaten to light his dick on fire. I just thought, I've never seen that tactic before, and I thought it was very fun and very interesting for them to do. And yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
That's a good threatening move to do in a pinch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like when somebody's expecting reprisal on a scale of 1 to 10 and you go to 37,
yeah,
always respect that,
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right. Steve, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the seance. Just some classic spooky fun, mixed up initially with some good jokes and quips, like the whole like OJ trial, and they're making fun of that, or they're making fun of that one woman who has implants, and they're like, they're totally fake, like that whole thing. It was just fun, like kids being kids type stuff. And then it goes into the Sam Raimi shots, which I'm always a sucker for. And it's weird. It's off-putting, and so I just liked it. I thought it was a fun little scene. I wish it could have gone on longer.
Yeah, me too. That was my number 2 as well. I think the seance,
the
seance was handled very, very well, even if I missed very key points of it. The baby. Love that moment though. Love this whole sequence for everything that Steve said. Madison, your favorite moment?
Well, my favorite moment was the seance scene.
Ooh.
Again, just the whole batshit craziness that occurred mixed in with the fun teenager elements. Same reasons why you guys chose it for number 2. Really, really good scene.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Steve?
So my number 3 is the
number 1.
Or no, I'm sorry, number 1. The third one I'm doing, but number 1 in my ranking is Shauna popping off on Callie in the morning. Just that turn from sweet housewife Shauna to cold-blooded badass. Just like, oh, you think you got it all figured out, girl? You'd have nothing figured out.
Right.
There's a reason I survived a plane crash. All right.
I ate people, most likely.
Cold-blooded, and I will eat you. Don't fuck with Shauna. All right.
No, do not fuck with her.
I mean, all season we've been getting little subtle clues of like, there's more to meets the eye when it comes to Shauna. And this was the first time where I was like, yeah, okay, Shauna.
She turned into a semi.
Shauna's ice cold. So
that was a Transformers joke, and I think it came off wrong.
Dun, 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 dun. Bumblebee, we need to get Callie off of Molly. Autobots, roll out.
My number one is also Shauna calling Callie's bluff. You know that I love that character, and I specifically like when she goes, all postal, as we used to say, like when she killed the rabbit and shit like that. I like the idea. One of my favorite movies, I know I go on these tangents way too often, is The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. And she plays like a kind of a Bourne Identity thing. Like she plays a housewife, suburbanite mom that used to be a lethal assassin, but has amnesia. Mm. And so at the beginning of the movie, it's really neat because somebody like attacks her and she takes like the cutting board and like blocks the knife that's thrown at her and shit. And she's like, what is that? And like, that's the vibe that I get from when Shauna lets a little bit of who she really is out. Mm-hmm. And I live for that shit. I love it. Like the John Wick, everybody thinks he's like a normal guy. I'm just going to take his dog. Don't do that.
Don't take his dog. Don't be taking people's dogs.
Never at first. As a rule of thumb. But that's it. That's my number one moment. And now it's time for all the little Easter eggs and things that we caught. I only have a 3.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
So Mr. Owl. So let's go around the table, starting with Steve this time, and we'll do one each until we all run out.
I just liked when they were doing their dance party in the beginning. They're using that cassette tape, like we mentioned, and it breaks. And the first suggestion to fix it is just blow on it.
Classic.
Which, you hit it first, and then there's them actually trying to blow on it. Like I did that so often when I was younger. Just
NES games.
Mm-hmm. Played that shit like a harmonica. Right?
It worked. Is the weirdest shit.
I know it did. It 100% worked. There's a reason why we did it. Madison.
I feel like we can always rely on Nat, but she was wearing a Pink Floyd shirt at the beginning of the episode. Adult Nat was wearing a Pink Floyd shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Awesome. Yeah. As far as the Halloween costumes, Callie references one, and Shauna claps back with Daria is a cool costume. The cartoon Daria.
The people who matter know who Daria is.
I haven't seen that. That was back when animation, like the lines would like wiggle. Even. Yeah.
I actually don't know Daria. What
really? It's an old cartoon. I think it was on MTV.
Yeah.
It was, came on late at night.
I'll have to look it up.
I think you would like Daria.
You would.
I'm sure, honestly, if you showed me, I would know what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Daria.
Her signature was very wry humor.
She was like Aubrey Plaza before Aubrey Plaza was a thing.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza. Yeah.
That's yeah. Yeah, I know who that is.
Daria.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But any hoozle. Steve?
I don't know if this really counts, but the aroma diffuser that Misty is giving everybody that she has the cameras hidden in, I own that. I have 2 of those. So when they popped up, my first thought was, oh shit, Misty's been spying on me this whole time. Turn away, Al.
I'll allow it.
Don't watch me. Don't watch me.
That's funny. I get mine was just the dances that they did. They did the Running Man when they
classic
in the opening number.
What was Laura Lee doing?
Praying.
It looked like she was. It looked like Whip and Nene.
Yeah,
but that was before her time. So I don't.
She's a trendsetter.
Or that was after her time. Yeah.
Through Jesus, all things are possible.
That's true. Through Christ. I'm gonna go O.J. Simpson. Mm-hmm. Classic '90s reference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Classic.
Ford Bronco.
Did he do it?
The Spirit says innocent until proven guilty.
In a court of law.
And if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, Steve.
If the glove don't fit, this is Chewbacca. Do you remember that?
No. I thought Chewbacca just went.
No, it's an old South Park.
Yeah.
Where they're making fun of that.
Yeah.
And, what was his lawyer's name?
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran was like, this is Chewbacca. He lives with the Ewoks. This does not make sense. Like, oh my God, he's doing the Chewbacca defense.
That's funny.
Let's see. This is how we do it. It's a song they're dancing to.
This is how we do it.
Such a good song.
This is how we do it. And also The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
The one girl was dressed as a Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Madison?
That's all I have.
This is not a real one, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. When Laura Lee runs in yelling, "The power of Christ compels you." It's from The Exorcist from 1973. That doesn't really count. It's not 90s. And that might just be how like exorcisms work. You're supposed to say that. I don't know. I think it's just from that movie though. So I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Well, I guess the other reference I had is Shauna makes a 50 Shades of Grey reference, but again, it's not. Oh yeah, it's not 90s. So.
Well, my last one is we've talked about it, I think twice already, and that's the Sam Raimi shot during the exorcism scene, where it's that point of view. You're from the spirit's point of view.
It's got to be an Evil Dead reference, right?
Yeah, it's rushing through the woods and goes into the window. Like that's definitely like a classic Sam Raimi Evil Dead shot.
Yep. And now it's time for our favorite performance of the episode to wrap everything up. Madison, who are you going to give it to?
I was so torn between two people.
3 candidates, really, and I just kind of randomly picked one.
Yeah. I think I might be the out or the person that won't pick the most obvious one, but I chose Tawny Cypress for this one. I think her performance and, dealing with, I guess just the emotion of being with her family and the conflict with her and her wife. I just felt like she's been very good at having this sinister / selfishness, but also still trying to cater to what her family needs. I don't know. I wanted to give the favorite performance to her for this episode.
I'm with you. Steve?
I also gave it to Tawny Cypress.
Oh, okay.
3-way tie!
Hey, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like she is doing a really great job of straddling this line of like trying to be the person she sees herself as, but struggling with the darkness that naturally is in her, and maybe that is who she is. And just the way that she sort of turned this righteous fury on in that press conference was really, really, it was a great performance because her character is performing for the press, but she still allows there to be moments of being unsettled by the spirit, but also like feeling like, oh shit, I'm literally throwing my family to the wolves. And she has that pain of regret in her face at the same time. And it's a very difficult performance to like really get all of it out. Yeah. But I think Tawny really kind of got all of those beats across with her performance.
And there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot going on with what she has to do. Like even we find out soon in the next episode, there's even more layers to like her character and her performance. And I think she just does a out of this world good job. Tawny Cypress. So that wraps up our coverage on episode 5 of Yellowjackets Blood Hive. So tune in a few days for our coverage of episode 6. And we're going to drop 2 a week until whenever the fuck season 2 comes out. It's either the 24th or the 26th or both. Yeah. Damn it. And then we'll cover.
But our episode will air that Monday.
No matter what.
27th.
No matter what.
Yeah, well, not no matter what. Not if it comes out at 10 p.m. on a Sunday.
I can't imagine them doing that.
God, I hope
I'll
not.
call him. I'll call him.
Call Yellowjackets.
Yeah.
I'll call Showtime, be like, hey,
I'll call
you're
Christina.
about to have a bad time.
Yeah.
I'll follow them all on Instagram and figure it out. I'm sure one of them has posted the right date that it comes out.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. You would think. And I've emailed Showtime, Paramount, and like specific representatives of the show to no avail to get some screeners. So hopefully that'll happen soon. But regardless, we'll be covering, all the 3 of us will be here to notice great details that everybody else misses, like the baby.
The baby.
I'm good for that.
I would like to see the baby.
That's all the time we have for right now. My name is Chris.
My name is Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things. Happy streaming.
Sniper Tone here, and I've been instructed by the boys via radio to read you the brand new patrons in the month of March. These are people who have an extra set of mirth in their hearts, and they are truly the last line of defense between Streaming Things and a total economic collapse. So in the Try Before Deny section, I want to thank Luke and Sarah, Conrad, and Trey Barrera. In the Marty B VIP section, we're thanking Tamara. Oh, Tony's going to mispronounce this one, that's for sure. Jir Latanowitz, Oh, I mispronounced that just like I misfire my rifle. Brianna Bernard, we thank you. Elizabeth Palmer, Josh Stitch, and John Ricker. Oh, thank you all so much. In the chocolate pudding producer sections, we have Lair Gillis, Maha Axholt. I probably missed that one too. Thank you to Jordan C., Kelly Shartner, Natalie Cleland, Sunny. Oh, it has not been sunny here in quite some time. Thank you to Wayne Yopst. Oh, I think the world has passed Tony by. Tony does not know what that word is. Yopst. Thank you to Shotzi, Brock Burek, Alicia Takahashi, Gabe, Quentin Vassa, Teresa Schwemmer, and Rob Westendorf. And last but not least, we have our friends Don't Lie to thank. Those friends are Taj Allah and Melissa Worcester. You know what? Old Tone used to shoot a Worcester back in his day. Or was it a Winchester? I don't know. I'm Snapper Tone and my mind is frail. I got to get back to protecting Kansas City. What? It's already on fire. Oh, Tony, you done it again.